and the environment, and it was so successful they harvested 4.5 tonnes of fruit and veg for the local food banks. Theo Chacumba is there tonight, and that's why it's growing, Theo, because of the rain.
Yes, and welcome to the Cambridge Co-Farm here in Cambridge. The rain, as you say, it's just started pouring down, but nonetheless we have spent the day here finding out what they've been up to over the last couple of months and the year as well, since they formulated their plan in 2019, but also to find out what their future plans are for the rest of this year. Producing the fruit and veg of tomorrow. Here at the Co-Farm in Cambridge, they have 7 acres of land manned by 300 volunteers. In 2020 they harvested 4.5 tonnes of food for those in need.
The food's all been donated to food banks from here, and clearly there's a huge need for it in this area. And I think it's been amazing to be involved in something that's producing such good quality food as well, fresh, and actually it's arriving at the food banks within the day. And I don't know whether the supermarkets even manage that.
The pandemic has triggered volunteers here to think about other ways they can get food, something which Peter believes anyone can get involved in.
How future food supplies are going to go, so it's good that if everybody's growing a bit of food and knows how to do it, that can't be a bad thing. It's really about just infusing people and showing them that anybody can grow some stuff, because things, plants want to grow on the whole.
One aspect they value here is the community spirit. Since February, James has been coming to the farm, which has led to new work opportunities.
It's a great project to actually be up and running when you actually think of the bigger scheme of things of what they actually do and what they provide for people. But in personal terms, it's good to come out and obviously do some hard work. You get to learn things, and then you get to help build things and stuff. So using the various skills that you probably was definitely someone like me I never thought I'd ever do. So.
But it doesn't stop here. Supporting the project's long-term plans, Alice helps communities like this with their next steps.
We've very much got our eyes on the big targets, COP26, the new food plan that's come out by Henry Dimbleby, and how individual projects like this can feed into those big targets to really work together to achieve them at the end of the day.
Led by community members, the team here hope to contribute in the effort to reduce their carbon footprint locally and beyond. Well, as mentioned in the piece there, it's been a project that started in 2019, and this was a field, and now it's turned into a project for members of the community to use. And this evening we are kindly joined by Gavin, one of the founders of this project. Gavin, thank you so much for joining us this evening. So the name, where did it come from and what is the purpose of this place?
Well, thanks for joining us on a lovely rainy evening, Theo. The name Co-Farm actually comes really from the fact we're trying to do lots of things in a very collaborative way. So first of all, it's about community and bringing communities together to participate in the food system and growing their own food. So that's one of the reasons. It's also about conservation. We do everything according to, we work with nature as opposed to against it. So it's partly about conservation of biodiversity, also just about bringing people together. So Co-Farm just seemed to kind of reflect all of those different things that we were trying to achieve, hence why we called it that.
Now you've got a network of around 300 people, and what's the response been so far?
The community response has been amazing. So when we first actually started involving the local community in the idea of a community farm for Cambridge, then people responded really well. We had about 300 people involved in that process of actually co-creating the design for the farm as well. So it's been very much a community effort where people have said what they wanted, how they wanted to feel when they're here, and then we've kind of made the design for the farm around that. But then we've also had about 280 or so volunteers who have popped up and just come and helped us to actually start to implement those plans as well, and to create a really thriving market garden, which is the kind of first phase of the farm's development really.
Now later on this year, COP26 is taking place in Glasgow, and one of the things they're talking about, in fact amongst many, is mitigation and collaboration. Are community projects like this part of that wider goal?
We absolutely think it's part of the solution to climate change and biodiversity loss, for that matter. Actually, those are kind of two kind of main challenges, as well as health inequalities. So we think we can actually tackle all of those things simultaneously by bringing people together to kind of relocalise the food system. We know that climate change is caused by sort of about 34 to 50% of our greenhouse gas emissions come from the food system at large. So actually we think we can have a huge role to play by scaling up things like this so that more people are involved in where the food comes from.
Gavin, thank you so much for this evening. Now, if you may have seen just behind Gavin, there's plenty of produce which has come from this farm, and that's going to be taken to various community centres in Cambridge and given to those who are perhaps having a difficult time during this pandemic.
It's a brilliant idea, Theo. Thank you.